Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel.
I had to put on my reaching hat. Hear me out. Hi, thank you for clicking. I missed you guys. I feel like it's been a while. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the whole Free Britney conspiracy situation. This actually happened last year and then it died down because of some lawsuits, which we'll talk about, and now it's back in the news again. And it basically kind of all started with Britney Spears' Instagram, and people think she's sending cryptic messages. We're gonna get into it. But the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna talk about the events that led to Britney Spears' breakdown and conservatorship. Then we're gonna talk about the conservatorship itself and all the weird things with that. And then we're going to be talking about the Free Britney movement, and by the end of it, you guys can decide for yourself how you feel. If you haven't heard, this is something that started online. It actually started last year, and now it's back. But before I begin, you guys know I have to give my thanks to my returning subscribers, old and new. Thank you guys so much. You have no idea. I'm a new channel. Like the true crime thing with the conspiracy hat is new, and so it's very encouraging to have subscribers and people support me and everything like that. So I really do appreciate it. And if you are new here, hi, this is me. I wear a tinfoil hat while I talk about true crime and conspiracies. It's how you say, satire. Anyway, please subscribe, join the tinfoil family, and we can all jump down the rabbit hole together. It is crazy down here. All right, so the hashtag Free Britney movement basically says that ever since 2008, when Britney Spears was put under conservatorship, she basically lacks human rights. According to Newsweek magazine, Britney has to ask her father to, quote, sign off on every major decision she makes, from business to health to voting and marriage. Keep in mind, Britney Spears is 39. She's almost 40 years old, and she has basically no control over her life. According to an article in the New York Times, quote, her most mundane purchases, from a drink at Starbucks to a song on iTunes, are tracked in court documents as part of the plan to safeguard the great fortune she has earned but does not ultimately control. And therein lies the issue. Now, I don't know if you are aware of this, but I wasn't until I was doing research for this video, but Britney Spears actually has two conservatorships. She has one over her personal life, and then she has one over the financial life. So keep that in mind as we go along. Now, the thing about conservatorships is typically they're reserved for people who are like in a coma or have severe mental illness. Now, experts say that Britney Spears' activities under this conservatorship are, quote, extremely irregular for people who are under conservatorships, because usually they're so mentally deficient, let's say, that they can't do the things Britney can do, like performing, learning dance routines, recording albums, being a judge on X Factor. What else did she do? The Las Vegas the Las Vegas residency for 4 years, right, where she's performing live every night and seems to be doing so very, very well at a high level. Now, Britney Spears has been under her conservatorship for over a decade. Her conservatorship initially started as a temporary one, but now it's permanent. And this is another reason why people are upset and are saying Free Britney, because essentially this conservatorship is supposed to be like, allegedly like kind of a prison, hence the term Free Britney. To make matters weird AF, Britney's Instagram has caused a lot of this renewed speculation and calls to free her, because, you know, we're all in quarantine and she seems to be alone, and she's filming herself doing dance routines and also doing weird kind of like, she walks up and poses and then walks there and then she comes back and then she'll pose again and then she'll walk over here and then she'll pose, like, and it seems like kind of sad, like that's all she knows how to do. That's all she's allowed to do, actually, is, you know, go to photo shoots, go to appearances, dance, rehearse, blah, blah, blah. So people started leaving her comments. They'll be like, if you're in danger, wear red. And then the next day she's wearing red or something like that. There was one where somebody was like, if you're in danger, under the same post, wear pink. And another person said, if you're in danger, wear black. And then somebody commented and was like, guys, we need to get on the same page because we're giving her different colors. And then the next day she wore a black and pink polka dot shorts and everyone went crazy. This of course is fueling the fire, and there's a recent court date that she had actually yesterday, which seems to have been delayed, and there's rumors on Twitter that she was hacked and she was supposed to attend the hearing in a remote way, like, you know, Zoom or something, and she was hacked, or she didn't have access to the computer. It's a lot of rumors. None of it could be verified. The only thing I could find is a document, which I'll show here, which shows that the hearing may have been postponed and that, you know, her mother and her father and the attorneys attended, but she wasn't there. And it was sealed. It was requested to be sealed, so if anything was discussed, we don't have access to it. To understand how we got to this point, you need to understand what led to the events that led to Britney Spears' breakdown. To do that, we have to go all the way back to 2006. Let me set the scene for you, okay? Low-rise jeans everywhere, midriffs everywhere. Britney Spears and Kevin Federline, aka K-Fed, are the it couple. They're on the tabloids, they're on the cover of magazines. You can't turn around without seeing Britney Spears and K-Fed. 2006, February, Britney Spears has given birth to her baby, her first son, Sean Preston, and he's about 5 months. And this is when her legal troubles start. When you look at it, when I did the research, I saw very clearly that all of Britney Spears' troubles started with the custody of her children. And the custody issues with her children all started on February 6, 2006, when she was photographed with 5-month-old Sean Preston sitting in her lap as she was driving. He wasn't in the car seat like he was supposed to be, but he was on her lap. This led to Britney being investigated by the LA DCFS, the Department of Children and Family Services. Then she did that famous interview with Matt Lauer where she cried and she explained that, you know, her father did that with her in their country and it's normal and all that kind of stuff. But 2 months after this incident, on April 1st, 2006, according to MTV News, Sean Preston, her baby, falls out of his high chair in her home. Again, DCFS investigates Britney. Now, I don't know how they found out about it, but this is according to MTV. So now this is her second time being investigated by DCFS. Then a few months after that, that infamous paparazzi shot, I'm not sure if you guys remember it, but it's that shot where she's walking with a cup, and then Sean Preston, and she kind of like stumbles and she almost drops the baby, and she's surrounded by paparazzi, and they get like 100 million angles of that shot of her almost dropping the baby, and her bodyguard is like trying to save the baby. You know, she never actually drops him, but she almost drops him, and that becomes tabloid fodder and makes media headlines because she's driving with the baby, not in a car seat. Now she's almost dropping the baby. Later that year, Britney Spears divorces K-Fed. Now, it was rumored that K-Fed found out about this via text message. And right after this divorce goes public, Britney Spears starts partying, and partying hard. She goes out with Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan. Do you guys remember that infamous thing where she walked out of the car with Britney and Lindsay? She showed everything. She wasn't wearing underwear. Remember that whole thing? Yeah, that was the time of the circus of Britney being photographed barefoot and falling out of clubs, looking disheveled, and the media was there to capture every single second of it. A few months after that, in January 2007, Britney Spears' aunt, Sandra Bridges Covington, dies of ovarian cancer. Now, it is said that Britney Spears was very, very close with her aunt Sandra, and it seems like she took it really hard between the divorce and the death of her aunt and all of the speculation and investigation about her mothering skills. She really unraveled. And then I'm gonna need you guys to pay attention because things go downhill, and they go downhill fast, okay? It all started on Valentine's Day 2007. Interesting that it's on Valentine's Day. Britney checks herself into Crossroads Rehab in Anguilla. No, not Anguilla, Antigua. In Antigua, and she checks out a day later on February 16th, the day after she checks out from rehab, the infamous head shaving incident, the buzz cut, heard around the world. There are rumors that she did this because she heard that, you know, she was going to be drug tested and that she could lose custody of her kids. And so that's why she shaved her head. So that's just a little side note. But so she comes out of rehab, she shaves her head. And of course the paparazzi are there and they catch every single second of it. 4 days later, Britney then checks into rehab. This time it's in Promises in Malibu. But she does the same thing she did in Crossroads, which is she checks out a day later. Actually, I think it was less than 24 hours later, she checks out. And what does she do after she checks out? She goes to K-Fed's house. She goes there at around 7 p.m. She rings the doorbell 3 times, no answer. And while this is all happening, she's in the passenger seat of a car. Her cousin/assistant is driving, and there's paparazzi everywhere watching every single second of this. All of a sudden, Britney Spears gets frustrated. She jumps out of the car with an umbrella, proceeds to attack paparazzi car with the umbrella. Right after the umbrella incident, she checks back into Promises, the rehab in Malibu that she left 24 hours after checking in. But this time, Britney Spears stays there and completes the program. She gets out on May 20th, 2007. And when she gets out of rehab, she has 50-50 custody with K-Fed. All good, right? No. Because the next thing that would happen is that she would meet Sam Lutfi. Sam Lutfi, I'm sorry, whatever his name is, once he comes in the picture, her whole entire circle starts dropping like flies. They either quit or they get fired. And she has a new group of people around her, and she really starts to spiral. First thing that happens is April 16, 2006, Britney fires her longtime manager, Larry Rudolph. Now, Britney doesn't have a manager, right? She fired her manager, so Sam Lutfi becomes her new manager. Then on May 17, 2007, Britney Spears fires her bodyguard. His name is Tony Barreto, and she fires him for failing to pick up a hat. I don't know, that's what I found. Firing her bodyguard would come back to haunt her because he would then file a deposition in a child custody case against her, claiming to be a witness to, quote, nudity, drug use, and safety issues involving her kids. A month later, in June of 2007, Britney Spears' publicist resigns. So now she has a different manager, no bodyguard, no publicist. A few months later, she has a very infamous fender bender in front of paparazzi where she's like driving into a parking spot and she hits a car as she's driving. Of course, there's cameras catching the whole thing. She ends up doing a hit and run. Cameras catch that too. Now, the reason why this little fender bender was an issue is because she didn't have a driver's license in California. And of course, it was a hit and run too. A month later, after this fender bender incident, is another infamous moment in Britney's history, and that is her VMA performance. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I watched it live. I was a huge Britney fan. I still am, but I was a really big Britney fan when I was younger. And that performance, she looked lethargic. She wasn't in her typical shape that she usually is. She was having a hard time lip syncing. She seemed disoriented, disheveled, and possibly even under the influence of something. I'm just gonna say it. I thought when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, what is she on? And it was about to get worse. Remember how DCFS had these investigations going into Britney, the driving and the dropping of the children and all that? Well, they decide to request access to the custody documents of Britney Spears' custody case and all the things that, you know, K-Fed is accusing her of and the drug use and all that stuff. Britney Spears' lawyers try to prevent that from happening. Then a few weeks after that, on December 5th, 2007, court documents revealed that child welfare investigators were, quote, looking into multiple child abuse and neglect allegations against Britney Spears. The next month, Britney's lawyers resign. They claim that a breakdown in communications is the reason why they resigned. The very next day is when Britney gets that 5150 hold and that crazy ambulance scene that was all over the media. Okay, let's talk about what happened on that date. What happened was, in the morning of that day, Britney Spears finally went to deposition that she was being asked to go to repeatedly by K-Fed at his attorney's office. This day she shows up, but she shows up late and she only stays for 15 minutes. She gets upset and she leaves. Later that day, she has the infamous showdown with K-Fed where she refuses to hand over custody of the children. The 4-hour standoff began at 7 p.m. Police officers arrived at Britney's home at 8 p.m. She ended up turning over the children at 10:50 p.m. Police said that she was under the influence of an unknown substance, so they arrested her. They put her in a stretcher in the ambulance. They took her to the hospital, put her under a 5150. And this is where the conspiracy theories begin. Apparently, on a 5150, you're supposed to be held for 72 hours. But Britney was released before the 72 hours the next day. This makes people speculate and say, well, did she really need to be under a hold, or was there another reason for the hold? This whole debacle is what resulted in the conservatorship. Right after this happened, Britney Spears' father and an attorney, the attorney is called Andrew Wallet, they both filed to put her under conservatorship, and they're both her co-conservators. I found some documents on Twitter, so that's my disclaimer, is that they're on Twitter. They appear to be court documents from when they requested the conservatorship all the way back in 2008. And the reason for the conservatorship was that Britney Spears had dementia. She was in her 20s, so it had to have been early onset dementia. Now, this is another big point that people talk about, is people who have dementia usually are not capable of doing the things that Britney Spears did under this conservatorship, like acting. Like within literally a month after the conservatorship, Britney Spears appeared on How I Met Your Mother. She had a guest role. And then she started going on tour and starting an album and doing more work and blah, 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 like all this kind of stuff. And then I found this other document about the doctor who was supposed to give a, quote, declaration of capacity, avoiding Britney Spears' father's attorney and not wanting to give the declaration. So it seems like there was some sort of resistance to say that Britney Spears had dementia or that she needed it. Let's talk about the conservatorship. There was a documentary that was filmed around the end of 2008 when she was under this conservatorship. And this documentary is called For the Record, Britney Spears For the Record. And it is in this documentary where she infamously is crying and saying that she's sad. A few months after she releases the album, she goes on tour. This tour was extremely lucrative. She made her conservatorship $131.8 million, which is a lot. And of course, in order to do a tour, you have to memorize lyrics to lip sync. You have to memorize dance routines and the whole choreography and the set and everything like that. And Britney, who allegedly, don't sue me, allegedly had dementia and needed to be under conservatorship, was able to do all these things and make a lot of money doing it. So this is when we first heard the term Free Britney. And it was on a website. Now this website, the owner of it, he got sued by Britney Spears' father for saying Free Britney and that the conservatorship is harming her and that she's being held against her will and all this stuff. And that's going to be a recurring theme. That's why I say allegedly, don't sue me, allegedly, because it seems like people who speak out and say that Britney Spears is in trouble or in danger, of course they don't know, so you can't make claims like that anyway. That's why I'm saying allegedly. But if you do make claims like that, Britney Spears' father will come after you. This next stuff that happens is regarding her co-conservator Andrew Wallet, and it's very weird. When Britney Spears announced that she was doing her second Las Vegas residency called Britney Domination, she was going to make $507,000 per show, making her the highest paid act on the Vegas Strip. Well, after that was public and announced, a day later, on October 19th, 2018, Andrew Wallet, her co-conservator, went to court and demanded a raise. He wanted to make $426,000 a year. He argued that he, quote, essentially saved Spears and her trust from financial ruin and protected her from succumbing to drugs and other temptations during her Las Vegas residency. By the way, his raise was granted. And also, by the way, that wasn't the first time he had asked for a raise. He actually asked for a raise very, very soon after the conservatorship first went into effect. Oof, I can't speak. He said that his fees were worth more than $140,000 a year. Keep Andrew Wallet in your mind because he's going to come up later when he resigns, and the reason why he states he resigns is very, very strange, and people still don't understand what that's about. But I want to give it to you in chronological order. It's about a month before her residency is about to start, and Britney Spears cancels the residency. She says her father's colon ruptured and she needs to take time to take care of herself and her mental health and her father, and that she's very upset and she wants privacy. Her team also came out and said that Britney Spears would be taking an indefinite work hiatus. This would be the beginnings of the next wave of the Free Britney movement. But before I get to that, let me tell you what Andrew Wallet did. Remember I said Andrew Wallet? Okay. 2 months later, March 2019, Andrew Wallet files like an emergency order and requests to be immediately removed as Britney Spears' conservator. And he says a very cryptic thing. He says, quote, substantial detriment, irreparable harm, and immediate danger will result to the conservatee and her estate, so that's Britney, if the relief request herein is not granted on an ex parte basis. It is reported that in this same month that this happened is when Britney checks herself voluntarily into a mental health facility for self-care during her father's illness, is the official story. And this is when the conspiracies really began. It all started on a podcast. The podcast is called Britney's Gram. Okay, and they said that they had an anonymous paralegal with insider information about what's going on with Britney. Now, I'm not sure if I can play the voicemail, so I'll read it to you. Hi there. I cannot disclose who I am. I just heard the latest episode and you guys are onto something. I used to be a paralegal for an attorney that worked with Britney's conservatorship. I am no longer with them. What is happening is disturbing to say the least. Basically, Britney was in rehearsals for domination. It came to Jamie's attention, Jamie Spears, that's her father, that Britney was not taking her medication as prescribed. She was missing a lot of doses and just full on not taking them. So they got her to the doctor, and the doctor said, okay, if you don't want these medications, let's get you on a new one. She refused to take the new one. So Jamie said, either you take this medication or the show's off and I'm pulling my support and you can't do it. Britney did not follow Jamie's instructions, and so he was true to his word. He pulled the show. He verbatim said, blame it on my illness. Britney has been in the mental health facility since mid-January. Of course, the statement yesterday said that she entered last week. That is not true. She has been there since mid-January. There is no timeline. Granted, I haven't worked at the firm for a little over 2 weeks now, but there is no end date, particularly in sight, for this stay at this mental health facility to end. She did not want to go. From what I understand, this was not a decision she made at all. When this leaked and went public, the Free Britney, #FreeBritney movement began all over again in a big way. On April 21st, 2019, Britney Spears was seen leaving on like a little day trip for Easter, the mental health facility that she was at. A lot of people were really freaked out and disturbed by this photo because she looks a little bit strange. They felt like she was being drugged with all these medications and stuff, and that she was being held there against her will. So the next day, fans held protests outside of West Hollywood City Hall, asking for an end to her conservatorship and saying that basically, free Britney. The next day after that, Britney releases an Instagram statement where she says, quote, I wanted to say hi because things that are being said have just gotten out of control. Wow. There's rumors, death threats to my family and my team, and just so many crazy things being said. I'm trying to take a moment for myself, but everything that's happening is just making it harder for me. You may not know this about me, but I am strong and stand up for what I want. Then Britney Spears left the facility the following day, which of course added to the speculation. People were saying, oh wow, so she left when everybody found out and made a commotion about it. Then another bombshell happened. On August 25th, 2019, K-Fed filed a police report against Britney Spears' father, Jamie Spears, claiming that he assaulted his grandson, Sean Preston, Britney Spears' oldest son. According to the report, Britney Spears' son, Sean Preston, was at her home for a custody visitation, and Jamie Spears, Britney's father, was there too. Turns out that they got into a huge argument. Britney Spears' son and his grandfather got into a huge argument. It got to the point that Sean Preston locked himself in the bedroom. Jamie Spears got so angry that he knocked down the door, broke in, and violently shook, allegedly, don't sue me, allegedly, according to the documents, he violently shook Sean Preston. Britney Spears is said to have come in, grabbed the children, taken them away, called K-Fed, told him to come pick up the kids even though she still had more time with them. She had him come pick up the kids early, and the day after that is when he filed this report and asked for a restraining order against Jamie Spears for his two children. What ended up happening was two things. The restraining order was granted, and Britney Spears' custody was slashed from 50-50 to 30-70, with her getting 30 and K-Fed getting 70. This, of course, angered Britney, and it's said that Britney stopped talking to her father after this. People also say that actually they were estranged way before that, but we know for sure that this was a huge issue between Britney and her father because she was mad at him for doing something that resulted in her losing more custody time. So 10 days after this incident, Jamie Spears goes to court and says that he wants to temporarily step down from one of the conservatorships, not the financial one over Britney, but the personal one. And he wants to put Jody Montgomery, who has been Britney Spears' caretaker, in there temporarily until January 2020. Now, more conspiracies about why this happened, because the official story is he told the court that he was sick, he needed time to recover, and that's why he was stepping down. But people are speculating that the real reason he stepped down is because after the restraining order, he's not allowed to be near the kids, meaning when Britney gets her 30% custody, Jamie can't be there. If he can't be there, how can he be her conservator? K-Fed and Lynn, Britney's mother, were said to be making a move to take over the conservatorship from Jamie, given that he had the restraining order on him. Are you still with me? So if he steps down from the conservatorship, the personal one, and he puts in Jody, then their argument for removing the conservatorship is null and void because it's not Jamie Spears. Now, another reason why people believe it had nothing to do with his health is because he stayed on as her financial conservator, meaning he's capable of doing that. Why isn't he capable of doing the personal? Now let's go to December 21st, 2019. The Free Britney movement has sprung up again with all this drama about her being in the facility and the conservatorship and the restraining order and all this stuff. And there's another lawsuit that happens. Britney's dad sues Anthony Elia, who has a website called Absolute Britney. It's a blog, and in that blog he claims that, quote, Britney's treatment is a human rights violation, and he goes on to say a lot of things that are negative about Jamie Spears and the conservatorship and how Britney needs to be freed. Well, Jamie Spears sues him for defamation and wins, and now he can't talk about the Free Britney thing on his blog anymore. So as it stands, as of now, Britney Spears is still under conservatorship. She is still on Instagram posting her posts. People are still speculating. I mean, I just checked it right before filming, and there's still people telling her to make this hand signal and do this right then and do that. I would like to know, what do you guys think? Is Britney Spears fit to take care of herself, or is this conservatorship a good thing? What do you guys think? please let me know. Also, let me know what you guys think of this type of video, like a conspiracy type video, not necessarily true crime, but fully conspiracy. I really did enjoy researching it, and I was super interested in it myself. I found myself looking into it for my own curiosity, and then I thought, I have a lot of information here, maybe I should make a video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.